Welcome, New York City and my listeners around the world. This is your host, Elizabeth Tripp. You're live with me tonight if you're tuning in on Facebook, elizabeth.tripprd, here at Gotham Podcast Studio. I'm so excited to be here. I'm your host of Nourish the Soul podcast and the owner and creator of my private practice here in New York City. So welcome to the show. I've crafted a really great show for you guys. We are continuing the theme of love this month. Last week was Valentine's Day, and I had so much more to share. So tonight we're going to be really going on a journey of self-discovery as we explore the lessons of love. And I just want to share with you guys, those who are tuning in for the first time or listening to this podcast as it releases this week on iTunes or Stitcher or iHeartRadio and Spotify. I'm a light worker and an energy healer and spiritual teacher, as well as an empowerment coach. And I really love to share my ability to be able to hear and see and communicate with spirit energy with my clients so that I can really help them get to the root of their life issues and allow them to really start living their best life. That's what I love to do. And I've designed this podcast in a way that allows for you to really come along with me as I share my own personal stories and begin to illuminate your own mind, body, soul connection and start to really dig deep within yourself and receive what it is that you've been guided to my show to get for yourself. And like I say on every show, it's no coincidence that you're here, and it is been divinely guided. Your soul, something greater than yourself, physically actually brought you to the show. And I want to say hello to Hazar, thank you so much. You know, I have listeners all around the world, and I know Hazar is tuning in from around the world, and I deeply appreciate it. Thank you, and I appreciate you sharing my work as well. That means so much to me. So my work is so joyful, and I really want to ask you guys: are you ready for alternative answers? Are you ready for alternative answers? You know, so much of the information that we hear out today is something that we've heard before. But my show and the work that I do actually brings alternative, new, innovative answers to your life. And it's really answers that provide for permanent solutions. So that's the kind of thing I like to deliver. And I want to ask you, do you want alternative answers? Are you ready to really take your life to the next level? Because we're talking about love tonight. And here's something I want you to start to ponder. Do you struggle? Do you struggle with at all feeling lovable? Do you struggle with that? Do you feel like at all in your life that, you know, I'm just going to be destined to be alone? You ever feel like that? Like, oh, you know, I'm never going to meet that right person or the one. Do you ever feel like you desire a deeper, more fulfilling kind of love in your current relationship? So I'm asking you to really stretch your mind with me, really allow yourself to sink farther in. Do you struggle with feeling lovable? Do you feel like you're destined to be alone or you're never going to find that one? Or currently in your present partnership, do you find frustration and a longing and a desire to create more of a deeper, more richer, more fulfilling kind of love with your partner? Well, I can help you with that struggle. I can empower you to uncover the deep soul level of these struggles, it's really possible to open your heart up. Open your heart up to love, and it's really possible to start receiving that love today. Love is something we all deserve. And clients who have come to me and they've worked with me on this struggle, they have quickly shifted their understanding of love, and they have opened themselves up to new experiences with love. I had a client email me and say, what you told me to do, when you told me to look at somebody and really open my heart to them, it changed my whole experience. I had new people coming in and wanting to take me out and asking me, to spend time with me. It was so awesome. I unlocked love within me. And so my clients, when they work with me, they're enjoying new aspects of love in their partnerships, finding someone that matches their level of love, and then simply loving being on their own too. It is so possible to transform your conversation, your idea, your understanding of love when we work together. I help my clients really flow love into their life and show them how easy love can be. Now, I really love what I do, and I do what I love. And I'm ready to create this transformation for you today. So listening to this podcast, it's such an amazing supplement. And hi, Christopher. Yes, it's nice to see you. It's such an amazing supplement, and a real shift can occur when you work with me one-on-one. So the time that we come together and we work one-on-one, whether that's on the phone, via Skype, in my office, that's where the real shifts occur. And I know you're ready for this. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to sign up to work with me today. I have limited space in my calendar. It's really filling up, so I want you to take action quickly. And I want you to go over to the nourishthesoul.nyc, that's my website, and I want you to click on the services tab, because it's time to really transform your relationship to love and allow you to get the love you deserve, to really toss out that old struggle that love is hard. I'm never going to find that one. I'm never going to go deep with my partner. It's going to feel like we can't meet each other where I want to, or, I'm always going to be alone. Those are the struggles of the past. And I am ready to actually help you find an alternative solution to love and really give you the opportunity to step into the kind of love you deserve. So it's just that easy. nourishthesoul.nyc. You click on the services tab and you can sign up to work with me and begin your transformation today. That's how incredible this work is. And that's how confident I am that we can actually make a huge difference in your life. So before we begin tonight's podcast, I actually want to announce, okay, I did a contest actually on my supportshare.com forum. So supportshare or connectsupportshare.com, okay, the link is actually in my bio on Facebook. So connectsupportshare.com is a online forum that is a community of people who are really ready to openly and safely and freely share their thoughts and feelings, and we embrace them. And it's growing. It's a big community now from what it was. I had 3 or 4 people in this community, and just this month I'm now reaching over 25. So it's really exciting for me, and it's a really great space, and people get a lot out of it. So I ran a contest exclusively to this online community. It is an exclusive community. The membership is free, but I give things to this community that I don't give to my Facebook followers and my Instagram followers, and to my email list. These people are exclusive because they are here sharing their thoughts and feelings, and we're creating a community with each other. So I had a contest, I had a challenge, and people were to answer some questions regarding last week's podcast and in around the topic of self-love. And I had several participants. I was getting lots of answers coming in, and I read through them and put the names into Random Picker. And this is a program that actually picks out clients by random who won the contest. So I want to announce it. I want to announce the winner, and I don't know if she's tuning in. So we can announce her live because she'll listen to the podcast later. But Abby Wurst, you won the contest. So you won a 2-hour free session with me that you can personally use, or that you can gift to somebody that you know could really benefit from my work. And Abby is a part of the connectsupportshare.com community. So if you want to be a part of this community and you're looking to safely, freely, and openly share your thoughts and feelings and really be a part of a group of people who are transforming their understanding of health and well-being and how to cultivate happiness and love and vitality and transform their relationship with food and their body and other people, well, you've come to the right place. It's a growing community. We are members from all around the world. In fact, I have Hazar, who I know is tuning in or is also on the live there, or on the online program. So it's 100% free. So check it out. And you can participate in one of these contests where I actually offer things like sessions for free, or free consultations, more than just a 30-minute, and ways to really connect with me and gain exclusive access to advisement, or my personal own shares about life. Okay. So cool. Now that we've squared away the contest and you guys know exactly how to take action to work with me, welcome everybody on the live. So yes, people are saying hello to each other. That's fantastic. I want to know, okay, I polled on Facebook. It's really interesting. A lot of my clients follow me on Facebook. So sometimes I think we might be skewed, but I like to just do these polls before the podcast because it starts off the podcast in a fun way. So I asked, how many of you feel anger, hurt, sadness, guilt, pain, resentment, this kind of if I only when you think about an ex? Okay, remember the topic tonight is lessons of love. And interestingly enough, the Facebook polled, and again, a lot of my clients follow me, and we've done a lot of really great work together. But 80% of you said no, and then 20% of you said yes. So that's still there's a percentage of you out there that yes still carry some anger and some sadness and guilt and resentment, and so. This is really important, and I want to really invite those who actually polled no to really pause and open your mind and open your heart and open yourself to going a little bit deeper here tonight as we explore the lessons of love and why maybe in our current life we may not have the love that we are desiring, or if we are thinking maybe I do struggle with that desire to want to go deeper with my partner, or there's something I feel that is kind of missing. And this is still a great podcast to tune into because there's still a lesson of love there. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to hold on to any feelings from the past in your past relationships. But let's open ourselves up to exploring love and where we learn our first lessons of love. Okay? And so if you are enjoying the podcast, I do encourage you to share this on social media, your Facebook page, or as well, share it via the podcasting platform. Send a link to a friend, a cousin, a brother. Share me, because my messages are meant for those that you share them with. If you have an inkling, you think you hear something that could really reach another, that's your intuition really nudging you. And it's a great way to help another person see their own self differently. The podcast is a journey of self-discovery. So, let's get talking about love and the lessons of love. And I posed this question: what are the first people that we have lessons in love with, the relationships we form in our life? What are they? And we're going to really look at these people and in several different ways, but really from a soul perspective. So the relationships that we have with people, and in many other ways, are from a soul perspective, a space to learn our lessons of love. Okay. So we're going to be looking at the first relationships we ever had. Okay. The first relationships we ever had, and exploring what love lessons we learned. What things did we learn about love from these souls or these people? And so, to really preface or set the stage here for tonight's podcast, we want to start by explaining love. And I've done that in the other two shows that I had. But love is a feeling, and it's something that we all are here to learn. So just beginning to just take a deep breath and let everything go. Start to allow yourself to really hear and tune in to my voice and the words. We're looking at the relationships we have with other people, and we're looking at it from a soul's perspective, that we're here to learn lessons of love. And love is a feeling, and it's something that we're here to learn, and we choose a lot of different ways to learn it. And we learn it particularly through people. It doesn't exclude that we have relationships with pets or clothes or books or food, and different things like that. But what we're going to focus on in tonight's podcast is that relationship with love that we have with other people. And so as you're tuning in and thinking about this, who were the first people we learned love from? Who were the first people that we learned love from? And what are some of our first relationships we have? So just kind of thinking about that question and starting to get to, look back into the past. What is the first relationship we have with love? Well, very quickly, many of you can see, well, my parents, of course, or my caregiver, who I was raised by. And that could be, an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent. Maybe it's our adopted step parent, or, somebody that was within or outside of our family, but they raised us. So we're starting to see that the first people that we learned love from is actually the people that raised us. And that could be a parent or somebody else. And yes, these are the first people we learn love from. They're the first people that we actually feel love from. So remember, love is a feeling, right? It's a feeling. We can all feel it. It's euphoria, it's happiness, it's giddiness, it's excitement. It's so wonderful, right? And it's a feeling that we can feel. And sometimes, we're actually going to see in tonight's podcast, sometimes it cannot be that same good feeling. Sometimes it can feel different because we learn a different way of love from how we were raised. Sometimes love is expressed differently than in that giddy, really euphoric, really, so delicious kind of feeling that we crave. So looking back and seeing our parents, What do you think they learned, or where do you think they learned love from? So we're going to stretch our minds here together and really start to put some perspective into this. I want you to start thinking about, you learned love from your parents, but where did they learn love? Or you learned love from your caregiver, but where did they learn love from? And so logically, many of you are probably saying, well, their parents or their caregiver. So, yes, you're right. There's a lineage of love learned. There's a lineage, a generational love learned. There is a social and cultural influence around love that we learn in generations. So, just slowing down and really allowing ourselves to open ourselves up to that. We learn love based on how we perceive love from others, how we perceive we are receiving and getting love from others. So, our parents learned love from their caregivers, and they then shared with us their language of love, and we took that and made a perception of love and created a definition of love for ourselves. So we will now explore that, because that's a much deeper kind of conversation. It's a much deeper kind of topic there. So let's explore this perception of love, because remember, love is a feeling, and it can feel different for a lot of people. Some people, when they feel love, they feel really happy. And some people, when they feel love, they might feel really maybe like hot and they can't eat. And some people, when they feel love, they might actually have learned it completely oppositely. And it may be in sometimes fighting or yelling or hitting or, getting angry. I wonder if anyone's ever learned love from their parents that way. We'll have to see, okay? We'll have to explore that. So let's look into that. How many of us, how many of us think our parents learned 100% of a free, open, totally transparent, talk about anything kind of love with their parents or caregiver? So think about how old you are right now, and then think about what year your parents must have been born based on your age. And then think about the year their parents were born based on their age, and start to go back that 2 generations and think, did my parents grow up in a time culturally and socially where we freely, openly, totally transparently talked about anything kind of love? And it was really warm and fuzzy, and our arms were wide open, and we just shared it and gave it all so easily. Think about that. Okay, we're going back almost probably sometime to around the early 1900s for some of you, or even your earlier before that, depending on your age. We're thinking about your parents and then their parents, okay? So it could have been late 20s, late 1920s, to as far back as the early 1900s. And so think about that, where then your parents grew up, where in the global perspective your parents grew up, where they were born, what it was like socially and culturally, during that time 30, 40, 50 years ago. And then, again, 30, 40, 50 years beyond that for their parents. So what was going on in the world? Now, let's ask yourself, what might they have learned about love? What might they have learned about love? And feel free, if you're on the live and you want to shout something out or you find something interesting. I'm always interested to hear what people are saying. And thank you so much for, tuning in, Angel and Rust High. Thank you. And again, if you enjoy the podcast, please share it. But feel free to tune in and ask any questions, and ask me anything. turning down this volume here. So we're thinking about now, what did our parents learn about love? And do you think maybe they might have learned that love was maybe keep your feelings in, don't hang your dirty laundry out to dry? Maybe love was a little bit harder. It wasn't as soft, wasn't very maybe as gentle. Think about now the time frame, okay? The social, cultural things that were going on around this time. And think about it, is was love something that they easily learned from their parents, or was it more difficult? Was it maybe again a little bit more closed, a little bit less comfortable to talk about our feelings and how we were doing and expressing and maybe saying "I love you" all the time, or looking deeply into your mom and dad's eyes and saying "I need you to support me and I need you to be here for me." Was that socially, culturally, and something that happened in those times? And so imagine, okay, imagine as a little boy or girl, we're now learning love from our parents. So we got present to, we let our mind travel back as to what our parents might have been feeling or experiencing from their parents. And now we're coming into our own space. And so we're looking at our own little boy and own little girl self, and we're learning love from our parents. What kind of love might we have received? So maybe it always wasn't soft. Perhaps it was a little bit more closed. Maybe it was a little more disciplined. Maybe it's not always so gentle and warm all the time. Then, with that, how do you think we started to perceive love? Okay. Our mind says, right? Our mind says, oh, love is just like Disney. It's like, oh, everybody just hugs and it's, there's a long string of spaghetti and we meet in the middle and we kiss, right? Or I lose my slipper and my Prince Charming comes after me, or it's happily ever after. That's our mind has been trained to think like that. But remember, love is a feeling. So there's a perception of love that we learn based off of that feeling that we receive. And if we've been raised in a household where your parents or caregivers have learned different languages of love, then we ourselves start to learn a different language of love that may actually go against our mind's perception or our mind's definition. We'll call it not perception, but definition of love. And so interestingly, how do we then start to perceive love? Is it possible we could start to feel that love could be painful sometimes and we might close ourselves off to it? Could it be possible that maybe we think love is scary if we're seeing our mom and dad get angry with us and maybe raise a fist to us or yell at us or punish us? It could be hurtful, right? And also alongside those moments, perhaps love was joyful and it was fun and it was exciting mixed in within those very human experiences you can have with family. So now that we're really settling into this, you guys are stretching here. You guys are really opening yourself up. You're seeing, oh, wow, there's a mind's definition of love, and then there's a perception we have of love. And they're different because they're based off of our experiences. This perception is based off experience, so it's different from everybody else. Yet what runs in the background is still the same, the Disney kind of love. And so we yearn and we crave that kind of love because our mind says, that's the love that we want, yet we're speaking a different language. What do you mean by that, Elizabeth? Well, fast forward to your first relationship. So everybody come along with me, okay? Everybody come along with me to their first relationship. So now that you're getting present, you can think of their face very easily, I bet, or simply just remember when you met them and what they looked like or how they felt like. And now start to get present to what perception of love did you have coming into this relationship? What kind of language were you talking with them? Okay. And I do see that Abby is tuning in. This is exciting. Hey, Abby, I just want to make sure that if you're on the live and you're listening, you won that contest. So this is very exciting. So I hope you're still tuning in. I want to let you know that you won the contest. I'll shoot you an email to let you know that too. But congratulations. I really appreciated your response. And your name was picked off of Random Picker. So we're coming back here now, and we're seeing we're getting present to our past relationships, and we're starting to explore our language of love coming into that relationship. So now we're getting present to that. How did my perception of love, my language of love, affect this relationship? Okay, and think about it. Were you always open? Were you gentle? Were you kind? Or were you sometimes hard or angry or jealous and closed and scared and maybe disciplined with your love? Now, now think about it. So when that person then shows you the way they've learned love, their language of love, and it's not the same way as yours, could there be conflict? You're talking one language because you had a set of parents or caregivers that taught you in a way to love, and maybe in your house, love was yelling. So you go and you yell at your partner when you're frustrated, but it's your way of showing love. It's your language of love. And all you really want is them to sit with you on the couch and cuddle up with you and watch a movie and kiss and we're close. And so, but you've learned to only yell to do that. So your language of love is different. And their language in their household was very soft and gentle. And you didn't speak up a lot. You just kept things in. So when you yell, they actually don't say anything and you don't know what they're thinking, yet they're internalizing and they're not sure what to do. So their language of love is different. They're thinking, if I don't say anything, that means I love them. Whoa, boy, do we have quite a conflict here then in that relationship. Quite a lot going on in that language of love there. A lot of different languages, right? Yes. Okay. So, yes. So, growing up, we're starting to see that love was something that you perceived, that you learned, and that there's a language that you learned. And it's different for all kinds of families. If you think about it, when you think about a family from upstate New York versus a family in California, there's going to be a different language of love. There's different experiences. There's different things that you go through based on, location, economic status, the year and time of your birth, the year and time of your parents' birth, and nationality. There's so many different things. So I want to share with you guys a story, okay? I want to share with you guys a story of that I learned. And Abby says, "Hi, Yahoo, that's great." And then we've got Ravi says, "Hi, love is a feeling that you experience if someone is kind and caring for you." Yes, that is true. That can be a language of love. That can be one language of love for sure. Thank you for sharing that. I love all the comments here. So let me share a personal story with you guys. So growing up, love was something I felt a lot. My own love from my parents, or my parents' love, I felt a lot, okay? They were providers. They would give their shirt off their back to me, to make me happy. Like literally, they would just, if it was if they would literally just give their shirt off their back, and they gave me attention, and they encouraged me to strive to do the things that I wanted, and they showed me support. They spent time with me, talked to me nicely, cheered me on at every school event or game, and they told me, regularly that they loved me, and that, there was a lot of love there, okay? But remember, we're looking at this from a soul perspective. So we're also seeing that there is lessons in love, and that we're looking at it from the relationship standpoint. So my parents were my first relationship. They were the first people that I had a relationship with. So this is my soul now experience my first relationship. So there's going to be a lot of lessons here. So my first lesson of love there was also some fear. Okay. It wasn't easy for my parents to talk about their feelings. And I would often see them drinking to connect with each other, using alcohol to kind of relax, or they would use food to calm themselves down. And it was something that I learned. Okay. So I learned that sharing feelings was something that was not easy, and that food and alcohol were ways to really make it easier. And I also, was disciplined. If we did something to upset them, I was disciplined and was, made very clear that I had done something wrong. And so I learned through that relationship that love, could be scary. It could be a little bit fearful. And also that, it was about making other people happy too, no matter what. So that was a piece of their relationship, that they were always trying to, show that I'm good. I want you to know how good you are. I want to show you, I want you to be happy before themselves. So again, that they'll take their shirt off their back for me than rather than care for themselves. And that's a quality that I noticed, and a trait and a language of love that they showed me. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a language of love. Okay. It's just a different language of love. And so fast forward, okay, so those are my first relationships with love. And then I had relationships with my siblings, and I just mirrored what I was learning from my parents with them. So scream at them if they did something, to upset me, and hit them because that's, I'm disciplining them. Or then sometimes squeeze them and tell them, I love you, I love you, I love you, because that's kind of the languages that I learned, okay? So, but here's the thing: we're talking about our exes, right, or our current partnerships, or this lesson of love around our partnerships as adults. So when I got into my first real serious relationship in New York, age of 22 or 23, I did exactly what I had learned. I gave, the shirt off my back to my partner. Always. I showed them with attention, and I showered them with attention and encouragement. I showed them, support constantly. And I talked so nicely to them and gently to them when I was supporting them. And I told them regularly, I love you. I remember just saying it all the time. I said a lot, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I did that in a subsequent relationship too. But at times too in this relationship, I also became furious, with them, and when they would upset me, and I'd bottle up my feelings, and I'd use food and alcohol, and I'd, then like try to bring a bottle of wine or a case of beer over with them, and like, reconnect and make it better, and, continually put their needs before my own. So I always was thinking, how can I make them happy? How can I make them happy? And, worry about, their happiness, versus not seeing that I had no boundary, and I wasn't really holding any boundary to cultivate my own happiness. So this is what I had learned love was. I learned it in my first relationship. So there's a lesson of love there that's repeating itself in my adulthood. So, not surprisingly, when that relationship didn't work out, I was devastated. I was really devastated, blaming myself for not doing enough, making it my fault, and going, to more food and alcohol to stuff in my feelings. And so my perception of love had made me feel like I didn't love them enough, that I didn't love them enough. And I carried that hurt and that pain for years. And it's something that I had learned through the languages of my own love at home, that you have to give your shirt off your back, that you have to, get angry, upset, and then, stuff in your feelings so you don't, make them upset. And so it was in many ways teaching me that was my love enough? And so there was a different language of love, and it wasn't like the Disney movie. That's what I wanted, though. So my mind, going into this first relationship was like, oh, it's Prince Charming. He's going to sweep me off my feet. We're going to get married in 2 years. We're going to live in an apartment together, move somewhere, have a big house, a fence, and all that stuff. So that was my mind's definition of love. But my perception, my real feelings and language of love were a lot different than that. Because when I yelled at him or when I, did everything for him, that was me showing love. That was me sharing my language of love and my perception. Yet it was a conflict because he had a different language and a different perception that didn't match. So why do these people come into our life? Why do some of these relationships just not work out? Well, from a soul perspective, they're really actually helping us in our lessons of love. Every single relationship you have, including your parents, okay, including your siblings, including your first boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife in your entire life, these are souls that you called in, that you chose to learn lessons of love from, so that you could really understand what truly love is for you. Okay? Love is a personal definition. It's a personal perception. Notice how many scholars and spiritual teachers and gurus out there. There's so many ways to explain love. I mean, Rumi explains love a lot differently than Muhammad Gandhi explains love, and Mother Teresa, and the Dalai Lama. So all these gurus explain love so much that differently, yet they all come back to a similar thing. It's a beautiful feeling that you can feel. And so we want to get clear about our kind of language of love. And is it really serving us? And is it a healthy one? And is it really attracting partnerships that help us open up and receive the kind of love that we want and deeply desire? Okay. So, do you want a different kind of love? Do you feel like you deserve more? Is there something about love that you're struggling with or starting to see that you may have been carrying as a pattern or is showing up now in, more than just one relationship that you've had? So think about it. Okay. So just like my parents, these souls, like I said, and my exes, they came into my life by not coincidence, but by choice. Okay. They carried a soul lesson for me, and our souls planned our meeting long before our arrival here. And it became an intricate part of this bigger lesson of love for me. So imagine if I never reached that conclusion or I never found this freedom, what would my future relationships be like? Would I repeat unhealthy patterns of love forever? Would I continue that language of love that actually wasn't helping me, but pushing people farther away from me? Imagine if, you're in a partnership with someone, they're like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, and I want to do everything for you, and I want to make only you happy. And that's not their language. They actually feel uncomfortable and suffocated by that. Then how is that relationship going to work? Okay. Or if you're in a partnership and you can't communicate what you want, or you can't share what you need and feel heard by that other person, then there's conflict there. And there's one person that's trying to be deeper and the other person that's just not there. So, or they don't understand how to be there in that language with their partner. So here's the bottom line, guys. Whether you're growing apart in a friendship or in separating from a partner, or you're single or you're in a current partnership, love does not have to be hard. It does not have to be hard. In fact, in my work, I make love very easy because I help you understand your lessons with love, the first relationships you had in this lesson of love, and where patterns are showing up that aren't serving you and actually limiting you from being your most loving and beautiful and wonderful and open self that you truly deserve in all areas. Because remember, love isn't just, a relationship we have with other people, but it's one that we have with ourselves. It's one that we have with pets and coworkers and jobs and books and food and alcohol, lots of different things. And so if we have a unhealthy language with love, then we're going to have unhealthy behaviors and patterns around love and think in our mind, right? But I want that Disney love. I want that perfect love. And be frustrated by not getting it. And that's where there's so many people out there that are like, I'm destined to be alone. You're destined not to be alone. Trust me. I believe there's a soul partner for everybody out there. And I'd be happy to help you find that partner. Okay. So it's my sole purpose to empower you to break you free from unhealthy patterns and to truly open yourself up to love. As a loving light worker and energy healer, this is what I love to do. And I want to empower you to attract that kind of love into your life today. So I know you're ready for this. I know that you've come here for a reason, that you're tuning in because it's time to transform this conversation. Head over to my website, nourishthesoul.nyc. Take action to work with me. Click on the services page. And this concludes tonight's podcast, The Lessons of Love. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Elizabeth Tripp signing out. All right.